When you say sprawling, what exactly do you mean by that? Oh, I see. Well then, it seems we've reached the surface, but there's really not a lot of surface here. It's just a whole lot of water and some mist. Thankfully, in the air or on the, I hope this is ocean, it seems we can move around within Zonde's world of stop time, but only for a second. Thankfully, it is a very long second at that, so we should be able to do something. Now, you can't see the top screen, but there really isn't a lot to do. There's not a lot of land here. Whatever Zonde did, apparently it just made the entire, well, not the entire world, but a vast amount of it just disappear completely, and in fact, this is pretty much the only landmass we can go to. The others are just covered in mountains. So I guess since there's nothing else really, we'll check out what's over here. I mean, this looks important. Well, the Temple of Water has the Crystal Room music playing, but I don't see any crystal here. And of course, there's not a soul here. Didn't really expect there to be, but no, just a single shard of crystal. That's probably not a good thing, but it's protected, so no matter what, we can't actually get at it, so nothing for us to do here. Well, next off, there was actually a little mountain area in the back. There's a little entrance we could go through. So, that's your next destination. I mean, it's close by, so we might as well. And here we are in the Cave of Tides. And random battle. I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like there are a lot of random battles in here. Anyway, we have the Poison Toad and the Twin Heads. 3 guesses as to what the Poison Toad can inflict with its attack. I said can, not will. Of course it's poison, what else would it be? As for the Twin Heads, I don't really think they do anything. Basically, it's just, pretty much a good physical attacker overall. As for the Poison Toad, it's weak to lightning. Twin Heads, no, it's not weak to anything. But of course, a good whack over the head with a sword or something should do it. And of course there's also terrain, that's always effective. Thankfully, despite the fact that these guys are in a water temple, they're not really too resistant to any of Xavier's attacks. Well, other than Whirlpool, of course, because Whirlpool's instant death, and everything's got a chance to at least avoid it. Especially later on, of course, but now Whirlpool is actually fairly effective at least. There are better attacks that, guarantee damage rather than attempt death, but, of course, terrain is a pretty good ability overall, and I'm not really going to complain too much if it doesn't always do a good thing. Especially since it, doesn't always attack me instead. There's no chance for it to actually backfire. Oh wow. So the new enemy just died. That's a Roper. It can inflict paralysis with its basic attack, and of course it's weak to lightning like the Poison Toad. Basically, since this is a water area, you should expect that most things are weak to lightning. But of course, like some of the enemies in the Molten Cave, not all of them. Some of them just don't have any weaknesses in general. Also, I don't think anything really absorbs elements in this game. Not to my knowledge, anyway. I mean, obviously they'll resist certain things, but thinking about it, yeah, not many things really absorb elements, which is kinda nice, I guess. Especially, again, with terrain. Oh, come on, really? Another locked door? Alright, well, let me get out of here with teleport, because I don't like the encounter rate in that cave. Maybe it's just me, but it feels kinda high. Also, I feel like I already said that. So there's nothing for us in either of those places, so what's there to do now? There's just this vast expanse of basically nothing. Well, there is one more thing on the world map that you can't actually see because it's on the top screen, but I don't show the top screen because most of the time it's a waste, and it's right here. There's nothing on land, but that wrecked boat looks interesting. Ah, Sid, did you destroy another ship? Well, I don't know if this is a boat or an airship, but either way, it's not going anywhere. And like the other two locations, not a single person to be seen. Or is there? You'll see in just a moment. Ooh, Blood Sword, that's very good. Not usable by very many classes, though. And in fact, the one it's really meant for, we don't even have yet. And if we check... yeah, that one absorbs life, so basically, as long as it's not undead, you will actually get a little bit of health back when attacking things with it. Onion Knight can use it. How long have you been down here? Is this a recent thing? Yeah, I assume that's been going on for a long time. Like, how old are the main characters? Like, what, 16? They've got to be in their teens, so, you know, about 16 years this whole place has been covered in darkness. Has she been like this the entire time, or was she just, like, striving here for a while somehow? Well, curing her is actually fairly easy. Use a potion. She's okay. You know, usually if they're that bad, you have to use a Phoenix Down, but hey, at least we don't have to use a Phoenix Down, because can't buy those in a store for some reason, because Final Fantasy III is kind of terrible. Can you really count them as walls if most of them are broken? It's not a very well-crafted ship. It's probably just luck that this place hasn't frozen. Alright, so we got Arya Bennett, one of the first characters in the series to have a last name. She certainly is a character. I can say that. She is a character in this video game. That's fact, and that's pretty much it. By the way, this is one of maybe 2 lines she gets in the entire game. Well, conversations, rather. Yeah, you might want to get that checked out. You really don't want crystals inside your body. So, Arya here is kinda similar to Princess Sarah in that she can heal you, but Arya here actually has the Cura spell. However, she is not an attacker, she does not have arrow, instead she can sometimes cast Protect, and from my experience, that's usually what she does. Especially when you need someone to use Cura on you. Right, so we will have to go back to the floating continent at some point in order to send a letter, but not just yet. Let's take her over to the water temple first. I mean, at some point we'll, like, take a break for the letter or something, I don't know. Make sure to fit that in at some point, we gotta. It's very important that we send a letter to somebody. Right, I really don't know what she's gonna do in the Temple of Water, because really all that's here is the crystal shard in the back, and I don't see how that's gonna help us. Wait, really? Really? Okay, I get that they wanted to have the crystal shard around, so, there's an excuse that the crystal's sealed away and that there is some way to get to it. But, oh yeah, by the way, that was her other conversation. And yeah, I've tried many times, but I don't think she has anything else to say. Like, at all. Deshk had way more conversations. Heck, I think Sid probably... Well, actually no, Sid wasn't with us that long. Didn't even get to use him in battle, but yeah. By the way, I am going to equip the blood sword right here. Yeah, see? Because it makes my attack go up, and I will heal from attacks, which, trust me, Dante really needs as an Onion Knight. So anyway, as I was going to say before, why didn't they just have Arya start with the crystal shard? Like, you find her on the ship and she's like, oh, let's go to the Cave of Tides, I got this crystal shard that can unlock the door. Because, basically, they just made me go over to get a single key to unlock a door. But I had to unlock the key to unlock the door. Really could have just given me one key and one door, but no, you had to have another character to open that key to get the door. Which feels very redundant. Alright, Roper, you gonna do anything? Good job! You did damage. Good for you. 120 is not bad. It's not exactly a fourth, given Xavier's got almost 500 health, but around that. And if you don't really specify the math, it might seem around that point. Right, well, that's what Roper does. I mean, last time, he didn't really get to show his stuff, but this time, oh boy, oh man, he was, quite the show, I gotta say. Oh, it's not even the crystal shard that removes the door. Okay, my point still stands. You could have just had her start with the crystal shard because now it feels even more pointless. Like, we didn't even need the shard to open the door. Just start us with the damn shard. Come on. Hey, well, so the Cave of Tides. I don't know. I'm not really feeling this as a dungeon, honestly. First off, cave tiles, really not too interesting. Also, I mean, the water's nice. I always like a decent water dungeon. Yeah, it can be a good look, but we've already had a water dungeon. And it looked slightly more interesting because, as I said in, what was it? The place below Dwarven Hollows. Forget what that place was called. Subterranean Lake, that's it. That had the whole limestone cave look going for it, and, I rather liked it. Here, though, it's just generic cave plus some water here and there, and honestly, I don't really think it looks too amazing. Also, by the way, there is only one chest in this entire dungeon, and that's only if you're playing the DS version. In the original, no, nothing. I don't think there was a single treasure chest at all in here. Which means... Oh! I want those things dead. I want them dead. I want them dead right now. I hate them. They're weak to lightning. They can't even really do much. I think they just have high attack power, but I don't care. I want them dead. Please kill them both. Okay, one's pretty good, but just destroy them, please. I don't like them at all. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me that finds them incredibly creepy, but they're just really creepy to me. Though with the NES sprite, I can't tell if I think it's also creepy or if it's kinda silly. Maybe it's one of those things that's kind of both, like the eels from Mario Galaxy. Also, here's Blizzaga. If you have a Black Mage, equip it. Oh, by the way, yeah, here we are. Told you we'd take a break in the middle of the dungeon to do this, but yeah, since I was warping out of the dungeon, I thought, I might as well go all the way back over here for a letter. Alright, well, I guess that's an okay letter from Taka, just a come visit kind of letter, but, we're kind of busy, so I guess I'll just do this. I mean, In fairness, I guess it would be pretty easy to visit, but honestly, I got a lot of stuff to do and people to see, and I gotta save the crystal because apparently it'll stop the entire world from just being a big ol' ocean. Alright, with that, we will warp back here. Ta-da! Thank you, editing magic. Alright, continuing on. You know, I'm trying to remember what this place looked like in the NES version. Cave of Tides. I think it looked more like an actual temple. Actually, no, it was just kind of a boring blue tile set. Ooh, this is a nice looking room, though. I like this place. Oh, why couldn't this have been the entire dungeon? Seriously, that looks cool. I mean, I know I'm exaggerating a little bit, probably, but really, I think that looks pretty awesome. Oh, joy. But what isn't awesome? Cockatrice. Because you know what cockatrices do, right? If you've heard the name, you probably know that they can petrify you with their attack. And thank goodness that didn't happen there. Whirlpool, please take care of the job. Alright, I got half the job done. That's okay. Oh yeah, and by the way, they have no weakness. So yeah, of course, the enemy that can petrify you, yeah, there's no quick magical way to deal with it. Though you did get that new blizzard spell that you might want to use. No, seriously, use it. Well, actually, nah, it's only okay, but I mean, the fact that it is such a high-level spell will come in useful, but whatever. Bye, cool-looking room. I really like the effect you had going there, but yeah, you're just a single room, unfortunately. And then we're done with the dungeon. Here, have a tiny little piece of crystal. Please, 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 please work again. She's not really holding it, she put it down. Please accept this offering of a chunk of your body. It is? Oh, I see, there are little sparkle effects. Well, that was easy enough. We're just gonna leave the crystal shard there? Alright, I guess we'll just leave this room to do that thing you just said, rather than stand here. Huh? I know Dante's an Onion Knight, but he probably could have taken that shot. Oh no! Not Arya, the girl I hardly knew at all. Hey, I'm Kraken. How's it going? Grrr! I'm gonna stop laughing now, because this is Kraken, and he is terrible. Also, he is much less of a gentleman than he was in Final Fantasy I. Okay, seriously though, in the original version, Kraken's gimmick was just that he had all level 2 spells, but he wasn't even that good at using them. In this version, however, he's got 8,000 HP, 55 attack, 27 defense, and he's weak to lightning, and also he's got a slight weakness to ice, so that fancy new Blizzaga spell, while it doesn't do the most damage, is one of the highest levels of spells you have at the moment, or should have at the moment anyway. But of course, the real reason Kraken is a pain is, of course, because of his spells, and of course the fact that he can attack twice in a row, which is always a problem. In addition to blind, which can be problematic, though not if he does it to my magic user, is his Blizzaris spell. And unlike in the original NES version, he's actually really good at using Blizzara. Oh boy, let's see how... Oh wow, I'm surprised Dante didn't die from that. Oh, and he can also inflict blind with his basic attack, but that doesn't matter, because that's Xavier, who also doesn't use physical attacks. But yeah, also for me, he generally got really lucky with those critical hits. That's just great. Now, one thing that is apparently recommended is having a Scholar for their item lore ability, but honestly, I'd much prefer to have that Blizzaga spell, because really, I think I'd slightly prefer to have bigger spells than item usage. Even though, to be fair, I'm not really getting many physical attacks off on him, because Ayla's doing most of the healing. Also, thankfully for me, Xavier's getting Ice Pillar off a lot. Which is good because, quite frankly, if he kept doing Whirlpool, that would suck, and also thank goodness for cover ability. Since we're done talking about Kraken for a moment, though, I would just like to say, really don't know what the point of Arya was. Like, you barely know her, and then the game kills her off, and I guess we're supposed to be sad about it, because, I don't know, she is the pure-hearted character who is a priestess, and she exists, good for her. And she doesn't really have any conversations, they didn't even bother writing for her, I guess. I mean, come on! Deshka's a huge dork, but at least I can think that about him. I mean, Arya's just there. I really don't care about her that much. I mean, most of the other characters, you feel something for them, and most of them also don't die, but yeah, Arya, nah, she doesn't survive more than a dungeon, and quite frankly, she doesn't even get to fight a boss. At least Desh could potentially help against Medusa, even though he didn't, the jerk. But no, Arya, she's just dead. Oh no, I'm sad now. Dante really cares for some reason. I mean, it sucks that she's dead, sure, but you've known her for, what, 10 minutes? Hooray! You can't leave us! What will we do without you? Heal ourselves as we've always done? Dante, he got a critical hit on me. I won't survive. Well, bye. Yep, Arya certainly existed. And she was never mentioned again. Oh no, a fade to black! Ah! Oh, there's the continent. It was just hiding, 'cause it was shy. Oh, and for some reason we've made our way to a Kingdom Hearts Game Over screen. Hey lady. Sup? Just sleeping here. I get it. Go find, Dig Dug? Whatever his name is, I'll find him. Don't you worry about that. But before we end off this part, we get to go to my favorite segment, the job class descriptions. Let's get this over with. Okay, so first off we have the Viking. Vikings are basically the berserkers of the game. They hit things very hard, they don't have a lot of defense. In fact, they were so basic that in the original version of the game, they didn't even have any special ability. In this version, however, they get the Provoke ability. When you use it, enemies are more likely to attack the Viking. However, their defense lowers slightly. So, while the enemies are beating up your Viking, the rest of your party can beat up the enemy instead. So, decent trade-off, right? And of course, as I said before, in terms of stats, Vikings excel at hitting things. They are very good at it. They're not that fast, but they have quite a bit of HP to make up for the fact that they don't have much defense or speed. They just have a lot of muscle strength. And of course, why would you even care about their magic stats? I mean, come on. They don't. Who needs to conjure up magical elements to beat things up when a big ol' hunk of metal does that just fine? Really, all that magic, whatever it is, it's just all so pointless when hitting things is just so much faster. Come on. Makes logical sense. Use your brain. Next up, we have the Dragoons. Dragoons, stat-wise, are pretty good all around, and not only that, they also have the ability to jump, which does more damage than a normal attack based on job level, at the cost of only a single turn. They're also very good against anything flying. If it's a dragon or a bird, Dragoons will really mess them up. And as I said before, stat growth's all pretty darn good. There's nothing that really comes to mind that's honestly lackluster about them. They're just very good units. I mean, they can't use magic, but what does it matter? Jump destroys a lot of things. Really, the only thing you have to look out for is Emperors, and that's pretty much it. Then we have the Dark Knights, which, for some reason in the original game, could use white magics leveled 1 through 3. Except specifically the spell Arrow. Why? I don't know. In this game, however, they get the Soul Eater ability instead, which is much better. Soul Eater is one of those do a lot of damage at the cost of some of your own health abilities. And quite frankly, it's really good, because not only does it do more damage, it also attacks all enemies for around the same amount of damage, more or less, and really the only downside is, if you're at low health, it won't actually work, so if somebody knocks you to low health while you're trying to use it, well, that's an attack wasted, but other than that, it's really good, and paired up with a blood sword, losing HP really doesn't matter too much. Though that being said, the blood sword's effect does not activate during Soul Eater, just to warn you. As for their stats, they're all around pretty good, except their agility. Their agility isn't bad, but it's nothing amazing. And of course, their magic stats really aren't too huge either. Unlike the original, where for some reason they can use white magic. Seriously, why white magic on a Dark Knight? That doesn't even begin to make sense. Next up, we have Bards. Bards can sing. I don't know if they can dance, but that's hardly a factor anyway. In the original version, they had two different abilities. One was Scare, in which I assume that they sing so badly that the enemy's level decreased, or they just out and out run away from battle. They also had the ability Cheer, which raised your own party's physical attacks. In this version, however, they only have one ability, Sing. Now, this isn't like other Final Fantasy games in which you have a list of songs that work like magic. No, in this game, they're actually based off of what weapon you're using. There are 5 different songs you can get from the equipable hearts. Minette, which casts Protect, Minuet, which casts Haste, very useful, Requiem, which just does damage to all enemies, Paean, which restores HP to your party members, and Elegy, which casts Shell. They are fairly useful, but the fact that you have to use a weapon to change what song you use, I don't know, I don't really care for that. I mean, in fairness, you just have to shuffle your equipment around to change it, but still, I wish they were still basically just spells. Stat-wise, it doesn't matter that much, considering the fact that they mainly act as the buffing characters, but of course their strength isn't that high. I mean, they're not really meant to be doing damage, though to be fair, harps would probably hurt if you hit someone with them. That's just my guess. They are somewhat fast, though. Personally, I think they could move a bit quicker given they are supposed to buff your party, and they've got decent HP, especially considering their class, and, yet again, magic stats don't really matter. They're just that high so you don't completely screw yourself over if you want to switch to a magic class down the line. And our last job for today is the junior version of the Summoner class. Evokers can use summon magic, however, each summon that they have will have 2 different effects, either an attack or some sort of secondary type of thing, like a buff or a status effect, that sort of thing. Both of which might be useful, but the fact that there is a possibility that certain summons might be completely useless if you summon them, like say if they try to use a status effect that an enemy is resistant to, or, you know, a boss in general, that does make the evoker a little less useful. Plus, they can only use summons, so unfortunately, you don't get any other magic, which does limit their use as well, because, well, do you really want to be summoning all the time? Stat-wise, they're okay. Obviously, both types of magic are fairly high since they'll be attacking and sometimes using more white magic sorts of things as well. Their strength is also surprisingly high for the class, though again, considering their only magic is summoning, that's probably for the best. However, they don't have a lot of HP, so even then, you probably shouldn't keep them in the front row. Unless you've already got a class that has a high amount of HP growth and then you get plenty of HP for them later on. Yeah, if you're just using a Evoker class though, keep them in the back, they might not survive long against too many attacks. They also have a decent amount of MP. I mean, at the very least, you can use Chocobo a whole lot, but in all seriousness, a lot of their middle summons have a pretty good amount of MP overall, so you can summon them a bunch of times, which you might need considering they might not always give you the effect you want. And heck, even high-level summons have a fair amount of MP as well, so they are fairly useful in that